Hey kids, welcome to what's sure to be a fun episode of Love to Hate.
Yeah.
I'm Philip Fullman.
And I'm Brandon Luna.
So, 5 minutes ago, I brought up a topic, and that's now the subject of today's episode.
Right.
Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock?
Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock.
You had not heard the term.
I had not heard the term yacht rock, but apparently it's a thing.
It's a thing, man.
And, yeah.
You and I have different opinions on this.
So, okay, I have a reason why that. So, yacht rock, originally known as West Coast sound or adult-oriented rock. I guess we could call that soft rock.
In the business, we call it AOR.
Right.
Actually, no, it used to be album-oriented rock.
Oh, okay, but yeah, now it's
which
adult.
meant you played the full side of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
Right, because you had to, yeah.
Yeah, now it's album.
So it's a broad music style aesthetic identified as soft rock, coined in the 2000s by the makers of online video series Yacht Rock, was derived from its associated with popular Southern California leisure activity of sailing. So this is basically soft rock from the 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I thought when I heard the term, it was like, oh, this is some new name for that crap that I don't like now that they're doing where it has like the whistle bridge and the clapping. Like, I can't stand. There's a whole music.
What?
There's a whole movement now where new singers like Imagine Dragons are big with it, where they have like, people doing the whistling all the time. Like the
really?
whistle bridge, that stuff.
Seriously?
Whistling, and then they do the there's another thing that they do.
Clapping?
Really, yeah, clapping, lots of clapping. It's like a big thing. I don't know.
Huh.
So that's new. I can't stand that whole movement that's happening. I thought that's what this was, but this apparently is insulting stuff that I grew up with. So
I grew up with it too.
This should be fun.
And you and I are going to have different opinions on this.
Right. So
because overall, I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking, oh, just kill me now.
What do you have on your list of considered yacht rockers?
Well, I had to pull just stuff that comes to mind would be America and that guy who did that one thing.
Christopher Cross.
Yes. God.
Right,
See, I
like
tried to
wind,
block
baby.
it out. Oh, no. And then the Doobie Brothers, who used to be a rock band, and then Michael McDonald came in and... By the way, Brandon, he may not do it, but he does a pretty decent Michael McDonald. See?
You don't have to know any lyrics, just mumble. Yeah.
See, and it's just the melody kills me. I think
Right.
Michael McDonald has a good voice. Now, Rupert Holmes is on there, but I like the Escape song.
Right.
If you like pina colada.
That's definitely yacht rock, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here that. Okay, so I'll say this though. I'll defend myself by saying my upbringing. So, growing up, I grew up in the 70s, obviously 70s and the 80s, and this was when majority of this stuff happened.
Right.
My dad was more the rock guy. He was listening to the Beatles and Foreigner and I don't know, whatever was the Led
Kiss.
Zeppelin, that type of stuff. Yeah, I was the Kiss guy. My mom, however, went to the dark side and was very soft rock. So she listened to a lot of Boss Skaggs, Eric Carmen, Christopher Cross, Doobie Brothers. So she was the yacht rocker, So I grew up with it, and I know a lot of this stuff. Yeah, and I was able to understand that there's different music genres, and I'm going to pick and choose, like a buffet, whatever I like from the different music genres. So
anybody who just says I only like this one style of music is limiting themselves, because in most styles of music, I can find something I like.
Right.
Probably not in, I don't know, death metal or whatever. But
modern country for me, I can't really.
No, that to me is horrible. That's like just pop music, bad pop music now. Anything that's overproduced, I don't really care for.
Right.
But these songs, I don't know if it's the association or what, but they kill me.
Yeah.
Christopher Cross especially, because I just picture douchey 70s people drinking their rosé wine. Just everybody I associate with it, and the image it brings up is just, ugh.
But he had wind in the song. In Ride Like the Wind, he had wind. And that made it cool.
Okay.
not really.
Yeah.
But I mean.
And when you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Exactly.
His voice, I think, is to me, it's just that high-pitched, like, there's no resonance in his voice.
Right. And I remember when he became a big deal for a minute, when he had like 3 hits or whatever. He wasn't a one-hit wonder. He was a 3-hit wonder.
And he won Best New Artist.
Right. It was, the big thing was, he's a great guitar player. You don't hear that on the album at all. You didn't really hear it unless you saw him live or something, and he was a good guitarist.
To me, it's all this very sappy Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Like, hey, this should be in a 70s wine commercial while
Right.
they're out on a blanket having a picnic.
Right.
It just seems very kind of canned to me. Now, this list has the Eagles on there, which I would disagree with. I think the Eagles, more than anything, their old stuff is probably more like old country.
Right.
Than
Country rock. Yeah.
anything, yeah.
Yeah, so like 10cc, which I don't even know. I know they have like one song.
The Things We Do for Love?
Yeah, something
that
like
it?
that. I don't know. But I mean, these guys, they're probably definitely in that realm of guys that I wouldn't listen to, per se.
Ambrosia?
Ambrosia, my mom listened to that.
I don't know
so
what the
I
hell
grew up
they
with
sang.
Ambrosia.
I'm pretty sure I
I
hated
couldn't
it.
tell you either. And a lot of this stuff is stuff that I don't know I
How
know
much
until
I
I
feel.
hear it. Like if I'm somewhere like at a restaurant getting ready to get a hot dog
Right.
at some fast food place and they're playing some Ambrosia, I'll
And
be
then
like,
you all of a sudden-
humming along and going, "Oh, I know this song. Like who the hell is this?"
They apparently had 2 top 5 hits, including How Much I Feel and The Biggest Part of Me.
Yeah, and then you do the Shazam on the phone to find out who it is, and you look
Yeah.
at it and it's Air Supply, and you're like, "Fuck." And your
Oh, no, I
Shazam's
did-
like, "You're an asshole."
The craziest thing about Air Supply is I don't know what shitty song of theirs it is, but the line in there where it's like, "And I can make all the stadiums rock." No, no, you can't. There is nothing rock about you.
Right. I listen to Air Supply. I mean, I know a lot of those songs.
God.
Now,
Yeah.
there's a soft spot in me for them because I know them, but it's not something I seek out. Like, I don't go to Pandora and go, "Yeah, let me hear the Christopher Cross station." And that's not like on the top of my
Right.
list, but I've definitely got some stuff in here. Donald Fagen, I like Donald Fagen.
Yeah, they
Fleetwood
got
Mac.
Eric Carmen on there,
Right.
And he had a comeback with Hungry Eyes and Make Me Lose Control. What was
Right.
that, Dirty Dancing? It was some movie.
Right.
that
You
he
had
did.
Hall & Oates in here, which I loved Hall & Oates. I grew up
I
loving Hall
can't-
& Oates. Saw them
no,
live.
no.
Saw them in concert.
No, cannot.
They were
do.
great.
No.
Fantastic.
Just-
Blue-Eyed Soul, man.
No. Here's the problem. I have problems equating soul to anybody on this list. Okay, I mean, it's a racial thing, but yeah, I really have a hard time with these preppy white dudes being called soul.
Right.
Aretha Franklin just died. She had soul.
Yeah.
These guys they don't have soul.
Robert Palmer. You didn't like Robert Palmer?
His later stuff.
Yeah.
The cheesy 80s shit that everybody's like, he sold out. That I
Right.
was like, okay.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
videos didn't hurt either.
Right, true. Yeah, big Robert Palmer fan.
Yeah.
Boz Scaggs, I remember that. Spandau
He
Ballet.
he does some. I don't get Spandau Ballet because I just remember that as like an 80s song, the one they did.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that sounds more 80s to me than anything.
They had about 4 or 5 hits, I think, on there.
Toto, yeah, I used to love Toto 4.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can only listen to Rosanna in Africa. I still like that.
Right.
But those aren't as like, I don't know, sappy.
You like
as
the
some
whole movement of people loving Africa ironically? It's like they love it, but they don't love it. They're like, it's a shitty song, but they know all the lyrics to it and sing it, and it's like a big thing.
I don't know. I don't hate the song.
Yeah. Gino Vanelli, that was a big one too.
Oh
mom
my
listened
god, yeah. He became a record producer in like Christian music sometime in the 80s.
I believe that,
think.
yeah.
Steely Dan, never liked Steely Dan.
Little River Band. I have the greatest hits of Little River Band.
Now, are they the one who
album.
did Kissing in the Dark? Or
Yeah.
see, now that I like, but that sounds like a country
Reminiscing,
song.
Yeah, they did all that stuff. Yeah.
John Sebastian, now he did the theme song to Welcome Back, Kotter.
There you go.
So there was that. Boz Scaggs did something that just irked the hell out of me. And he's not on this list, but another one, Chuck Mangione. That one that goes.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
grew up with
because
that too.
growing up in El Paso, this shit was on all the freaking time.
Right.
And so it was just like, please, anything else.
Right.
Just anything. What was it? Trying to see here what Boz Scaggs did that irked me so bad. Lido Shuffle. See, even there, Lido, the Lido deck. There's a whole series of videos on YouTube about Yacht Rock.
No.
Oh, yeah, where Loggins breaks away from Messina because Loggins wants to do more rock.
Right.
The
Took a highway to the danger zone.
Yeah. Footloose. I still love Footloose.
God, this stuff's so bad.
It's better than this.
Barely.
Come on, makes you want to dance.
They're all awful. I think his best movie song was the Caddyshack song. I'm all right. That was the best. That one I can still listen to. Danger Zone, I can't. I can't do
Danger
it. I
Zone.
can't
Danger
do it.
Zone's funny now because of Archer.
Right. Footloose, I can't do
I
either.
still
It's
like
just,
Footloose.
ugh. So bad.
What did Player do? Carol Bear Sager's on here. Now, I know she was married to Burt Bacharach for some time.
He should be on the list. I mean,
he
he's
really should.
Definitely yacht music.
He really
that
should.
Stuff back then.
What? See,
Al Jarreau. We had Al Jarreau in there. I grew up with Al Jarreau. So
Baby Come Back. That was the Player song. Ugh. Baby Come Back. I should apologize for singing on this episode.
Right.
It was completely unintended.
So
Al Jarreau, he did the theme song to Moonlighting. I didn't like that.
George Benson was another one that could probably be considered yacht rock. A very good guitarist, though, but he did some
but that doesn't mean you should sing.
soft rock stuff.
I don't get the point of soft rock. It's like, it's not adult contemporary necessarily, but it's not rock. It's the best of both.
Right.
It's like it's kind of like that stuff your parents listen to.
Right.
Like you say, it's that, it's safe for the whole family.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So would, what was the name? They did Afternoon Delight.
Yeah. I got that on vinyl and gave it to my mother.
Oh, my God.
Starlight Express.
Yes.
Yep. I found that on vinyl for like 50 cents at a freaking thrift shop.
And it
was immaculate. I'm like, I'm giving this to my mom. Like, she's going to love it. And she did. And she does.
What's funny to me is that's one of those where you're listening to and you're like, oh, that's great. And then you're listening, it's like, they're having a nooner.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute. And a lot of this stuff it sounded safe for the entire family.
But it's all sex stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Who was it? God. He was a country singer for a while.
George Strait?
No, they did.
Conway Twitty?
Oh, my God. I can't believe I spaced on it. It's in Long Kiss Goodnight. I'm not talking about moving in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Or as Sam Jackson says, I'm not talking about the linen.
Right.
Because I only want to see you tonight. I'm just I want to hook up.
Right.
Who was that?
I don't know. If you sing it long enough, I might be able to use Shazam.
Yeah. Oh, that's so not going to happen. That is so not going to happen. Now I got to look that up.
Really want to see you tonight.
I'm
this
not
episode's going to get taken
talking
down from copyright infringement.
Oh, my God. I hope not. All right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of that stuff. I mean, and we have the modern day equivalent of that. We really do. There's a lot of that out there now still.
England Dan and John Ford Coley.
England Dan.
It was Dan Seals.
Oh, okay.
And he did. He was big in country music for a minute in the 80s.
Huh.
But yeah, this stuff there's certain types of music that I can't do it. And they're evocative of just like a negative image in my mind or.
So what were you listening to back then when this old yacht rock movement was going on? What was your?
I didn't really start listening to the radio in the 80s. I mean, it was just what Mom had on, and a lot of it was big band and stuff, and I loved it.
So you like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and
Squirrel
Nut Zippers and all that stuff?
When all that stuff came back around, totally loved it.
Me too.
And I love the horns in it.
Well, I grew up with a lot of the old school stuff, Glenn Miller and all that stuff was being played in my house too. And I played alto sax for a while, so
there you go.
That's what I grew up listening to. So I'll tell you, there's an embarrassing like I don't want to admit I like this stuff, but one of the bands. Now I was working. I'll backtrack a little bit and tell you the story. I was working at HEB, and I was managing the video counter. We had VHS tapes, which was also the place where we sold the perfume, was also the place where we had vinyl and LPs.
Oh, yeah.
Also where you turned in your photos. So I managed that whole little area. And the vinyl records, when we would get them, I got this catalog in the mail that I would have to check off what do we want. So I was picking what the store was going to carry.
Right.
And we were getting stuff from Europe. So I would get this thing that I thought was the coolest thing. It was a record that had a magazine attached to it, and it was about all the new music coming out over in UK that hasn't even hit America yet.
Right.
And you get a vinyl, and it had 12, 15 songs on it, whatever. And sometimes they were double. And I'm like, this is great. And it was super cheap. It was like the equivalent of buying one album and you got two with the magazine. So it was great. And one of the bands I found was this band called Matt Bianco, which was a band, was just like this weird band that did kind of like, their whole concept was Matt Bianco is like a super spy, and all this music we're going to do is like spy related kind of stuff, and it has that kind of mod kind of sound to it, like 60s mod stuff. So they were doing that, and they was mostly synthesizer, but they had like horn sections and whatever. And they had a couple of songs on this album thing, and then I was like, well, I got to find, this is great, like I got to find this band. So I found the album, had it imported in, bought it, loved it. Well, the whole band was, the structure of the band basically was 3 people. It was Mark Riley, Baja, who went on to do her own thing, and then who the other guy, whoever the one Baja ended up. Basically, the people hooked up in the band, they broke the band up. Baja went and did her own thing, became this big thing. Like in the late, I guess, early 90s, Baja was a thing. She was a big hit. So I loved Baja.
I think I recognize
I followed
that
her,
name.
went and did everything that she did, went and saw
Had
her
the
concert.
poster.
Yeah, all the stuff. Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid big time. And, but that was stuff that I was listening to, the Misfits at the same time. I was listening to Oingo Boingo. I was listening to, Led Zeppelin. I was all over the place,
yeah.
So I didn't really have like a set genre that I listened to, but because of this yacht rock.
So how did you dress? I want to know. Did you dress like the kid who listened to the Misfits? Did you listen like
a little of both? Honestly,
Boingo?
Both. Yeah, I did a little bit. I was a jeans and a t-shirt kid. I had some button-up stuff, and my friends in high school all went the preppy route. So by proxy, I did too. I would go, fine, I'll go to Old Navy, or I guess it was the Gap. Then I'll go to the Gap and get my shirts. And I had a friend that worked there, so I get discounts. Hey, that was a prep by proxy, but I was a punk rock kid. That's what I was listening to.
Yeah, I used to shop at the Gap.
But my mixtapes would be like fucked up. People are like, what the fuck is this? People are like, what are you listening to? I'm like, oh,
you do not know how to mix a tape.
Like, this is a band that I like. No, that's not.
If you were
don't have Howard Jones and then the Misfits. That's not how it works.
It doesn't.
But that's what I did.
You could not program a radio station.
No, it would be all over the place. And I worked
like
at one for a
programming
while.
Jack FM, where
exactly. There's no rhyme or reason.
They came out of Tom Petty and then went into something. Just like some 80s pop. I was like, what? Like, no.
From Tom Petty to Wang Chung.
Yeah, it was jarring.
And I loved Wang Chung. That was another one I liked in the 80s, that I shouldn't have liked.
They had a couple of good songs.
Right.
I like, not the Wang Chung Tonight, but the Let's
Dance
Go
Hall
song.
Days.
Yeah, Dance Hall Day, yeah. So, that was you.
Right.
In the 80s.
Yeah. I was just the guy. I was all over the place musically. I didn't
liked
have
hair metal, which I'm not proud of.
Yeah, I had my hair metal time too. I mean, I went and saw Iron Maiden and Bon Jovi and
Iron Maiden had the hair, but they had cred.
Yeah, I saw Slayer. I saw Metallica.
Oh
I went and saw all these bands when I was growing up.
I mean, I'm talking about like when you go see like Faster Pussycat or LA Guns. And
right.
What the hell?
Cinderella.
Jeez, yeah. That Bon Jovi brought them about.
Right. Yeah, I saw them with Bon Jovi. They opened for Bon Jovi.
Yeah. But that was, again, as much I can hear those songs now and go, geez, that sucks.
Right.
But it doesn't irk me like the yacht rock. Like when I hear Michael McDonald, I'm just like nails on a chalkboard.
Right. And there's the equivalent of that now. I mean, there is still really a lot of that out there. Yeah.
Well, I've got Sirius XM in the car now, so it's kind of cool because I can futz around and find different channels, different genres. I can lock into the ones I like, but there's some crap out there. It's like, oh, I've never heard this artist. I've heard Kesha's Popular. Wonder what this sounds like. I'm like, well, for 5 seconds, it sounds like shit.
Right.
Oh, look. And it was Miley Cyrus partying. Like, I wonder what Billy Ray's more successful daughter sounds like. It's like, sounds like shit. And just when you're actually like, wow, her dad's songs aren't as irritating.
Right. Yeah.
There's some bad stuff out there.
Disney, I think, has there's a movement of music because of Disney and their stuff that they did like early 2000s, really with Lindsay Lohan and Miley Cyrus, and they had this genre that they kind of created that was like Disney rock, and it was like the most homogenized version of rock that you could possibly have. Anything that Lindsay Lohan sang on, just overproduced, like soulless, just you could tell it wasn't written by them. Nothing, no involvement. They just went to the studio and sang.
Right.
And
it wasn't written for them. It was just a generic song written for anybody.
Right. And there's bands out there that, like Imagine Dragons is one to me that sounds like that. They sound like Disney rock. Like this should be on a Disney Channel or something. It shouldn't be like there's another grand band called the White Tees or something, and they do that kind of Disney kind of rock. Another band called the Struts. Where it's like very safe and you look at them and who was it? Who was I looking at? Five Finger Death Punch. Right.
Which, if you look at the picture, they should be a lot harder sounding than they are. Mm-hmm. But I looked at it and it's like, man, you can check all the boxes: tattoo, dreads, leather bracelet, shorn T-shirt, and it's almost like this looks phony.
Right.
This is very much the A&R guy said, this is what looks cool. We're going to make you guys look cool. And to me, it's sad Because if you look at two popped in mind, Lynyrd Skynyrd and Toto,
Right.
because they're still out touring and stuff. And I saw a publicity photo somebody had posted on Facebook of Toto. Again, I don't hate on Toto, but you look at it and it's like, here's some dudes pushing 60, and somebody's like, "Hey man, this is what we're gonna do, so you look like you're still rocking." It's like, no, it looks stupid. It looks like you're trying to make him look cool. I know that's not how that guy looks.
Right.
He's not really wearing 3 silver necklaces when he's hanging out. When you see him
60s,
when they're
right.
younger, it's like, yeah, no, I believe that dude totally looks like that. I believe that's him.
Right.
But now it's like, oh, you're trying so hard to look.
Yeah, thrift store fashion-y. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the whole thing I see. Even with some of the hair bands, it's like, man, is there a list of shit you got to wear to be a hair band?
Totally, yeah.
So,
they have a store. It's underground. You got to, I'm sure.
You got to know. You got to know a guy.
Yeah.
It's right under Hot Topic.
Exactly.
They take you through the back, and
That's where the real shit is, yeah.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger died in this jacket. Well, he's not dead. Well, yeah, okay.
Keith is.
He came back.
Yeah.
Right.
Keith will never die. No, but I mean, if you look at like the Rolling Stones in the 70s, like, I believe they dress this way. I believe they hang out this way.
Right.
It's just everything is homogenized now, and it has to be that specific image. I think I told you, looking at the back of the first Boston album,
Right.
bunch of ugly looking dudes. I mean, it just
Rock was ugly till MTV, man.
it totally was.
It changed
It absolutely. The Buggles were right.
Right.
Video killed the radio star.
Totally,
And I think
yeah.
we've had this discussion.
Right.
Milli Vanilli. Mm-hmm. Everybody loved the music. Everybody was buying that album because they loved the songs.
Right.
But it's 2 fat dudes and a fat chick.
Right.
You can't put them on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody wants to see middle-aged people. So we're going to give it to these 2 guys who can't sing and they're good looking. So
And they can dance. Yeah.
Right. So then everybody loves it. But if it wasn't for MTV and you'd have released that CD, not put a face on it, not shown a band photo, but just released it as, call it whatever,
Right.
3 middle-aged people singing, people would have loved the music and bought it because they liked the sound, but they wouldn't watch it, so you had to fake it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden people hated the music because they were lied to.
Yep. Imagine that now, how much worse that would have been for them.
Oh, man.
Nowadays.
With social media.
Yeah, with social media the way it is now, oh my
Yeah.
God.
But I mean, so much of the music now is it almost accepted now that things are auto-tuned?
Oh,
that,
yeah,
That it's just
totally,
like
yeah.
nobody can sing?
Right, right.
And it's like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, and there's a movement out there for real music now, and it's mostly on the classic rock side. There's a lot of bands, between what Jack White and Dan Auerbach are producing, from the White Stripes and Black Keys. Those guys produce a lot of bands that do real music, and they're to the point where they're recording on old equipment, tube amplifiers, they're recording it live in the studio, and they can play live. But that's a very much a subculture thing that only certain people are listening to, and it's usually guys like me that are older that find it and go, shit, that sounds like it was made
Which
in the 70s.
is not a hipster attitude.
Right.
That is,
I don't think. I think
No,
that's
it's
just me.
just-
I'm listening to new music, but it sounds like old music. That's fine.
Well, it sounds like music.
Right, right.
It would be my argument. It's actual music because you've got guys playing instruments, and it's not, hey, we got to cover for the fact that they're not talented.
Right, right.
We took this supermodel with, a modicum of talent, that being she can walk back and forth, and tried to give her an album, but we had to fake everything to make it sound like that. That, to me, is not music.
Right.
Again, with the Sirius XM, flipping through. Oh, look, it's the Y2K channel. Oh, look, it's Kanye. I don't know what Kanye sounds like. I know he interrupts a lot of people.
Right.
Put it on for a few seconds. Like, he's not singing anything. He's just going, yeah. Like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
He's not doing anything.
Right. He has
like-
to have Jamie Foxx sing for him. So Jamie
it's
Foxx
like,
on that
what
Gold
is
Digger
that?
song, Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx is singing his brains out, and then he's there going, oh, no, can't understand him.
I don't.
The mumble rappers.
To
yeah.
me, that is not music.
There's a whole thing now with the Eminem putting out CDs and like dissing on people, and this whole thing. I mean, the whole rap thing with them battling against each other and having this rivalry.
Wait, who has a
is
rivalry
hilarious.
now?
So Eminem apparently put out a couple of CDs recently, and other rappers are saying that he's dried up, he hasn't done anything in forever. Eminem sucks. So he's finally put out something where he was like dissing on everybody that was dissing on him, and it's just so stupid in my mind that they do that. It's like, come on, you got something better to talk about, maybe, than getting back at guys that got at
Is
you.
it
It's
fake
just
hype just designed to sell
Yeah, I
albums,
think
you
it is. And what I noticed about it, too, is like he's not even really rapping 100% anymore. It's so overproduced that like there's times when you can hear that he's rapping over himself because he can't do it anymore. It's like it's this one long, like 2-minute little, like really fast rant, but you can hear how they're trimming stuff together to make it work. Like, can
There's
you do
a
that
pause
live?
and a
Right. And we didn't get that part.
some
Yeah.
Gatorade. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, man. Music it's so far out from what it should be right now, I think. And like I said, there's some bands that are doing it, but you got to like that genre, and most people don't. So
would you agree that Yacht Rock was overly produced?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Yacht Rock was the epitome of radio rock. I mean, it was light. It was the light classic rock stations
friendly.
that radio friendly. Wasn't even classic rock. It's that crap. It's soft rock. I mean, soft rock is very much overproduced, and it's but there is a lot of talent there too. I mean, the Doobie Brothers wrote their own stuff.
Sure.
The Eagles wrote their own
Michael
stuff.
McDonald has a great voice.
Right.
I don't argue that. It just, the songs to me are like, man, pick something else.
Well, there's bands that did that, though. I mean, we've probably talked about this in the past, if not on the other podcast that I had. But a lot of those bands went from, they had the pussification period where they went from being rock bands to being bands that put out love ballads, and now that's all love ballads.
Chicago
did it, Foreigner did it, the Doobie Brothers did it.
Chicago in a big way.
Once Peter Cetera took over and started singing everything, it was all bullshit. It was all Karate Kid soundtrack stuff. So
okay, so here's my ugly confession. I love Chicago 16 and 17.
Right.
But that was my high school music. That was, she's the inspiration.
You're right. I grew up with it too. I'm not going to lie. I danced to that. I kissed chicks to that. So yeah, it happens, but
as you've gotten older and you listen to some of these love songs that you heard in high school, do you listen to them now as an adult and go, that is complete horseshit?
Of course, yeah.
It's like
of
nobody
course.
loves like that.
Yeah.
Ain't no mountain high enough. No, I'm going to say at some point there's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
It's like, no, a good relationship has boundaries. And, there's certain things you're just like, no, I'm not going to help you sell crack. I love you, and I'm sorry you're homeless now, but no, they're just...
What's funny is you say that. They're the polar opposite side of that. The hair bands, if you listen to all of their songs, super misogynistic. Like every single song that ZZ Top pretty much sings is about fucking a chick that doesn't really want to be fucked. It's a lot of rape. The ZZ Top's very rapey, in their songs, like Legs and... I
don't get the rape part. I get the misogynistic part.
Well, it's misogynistic. It just,
or I get the sexual part of it.
Right,
like,
right. It's very predatory music. We'll say that.
Yeah, I don't get the... No. Okay, speaking of rape songs.
Predatory rock, new from KTEL.
Kenny Rogers fan? Do you
I like Kenny Rogers. Yeah, growing up.
So, Coward of the County, they even did a movie about it.
Mm-hmm.
Always like that song, like, oh, look, he's the coward of the county and he won't fight, et cetera, et cetera. When's the last time you heard that song?
It's been a long time, man.
So when he finally decides to fight them is when they gang rape his girlfriend.
Right.
I kid you not. And I remember listening to that and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? I mean, as a kid, you're just like, oh, he's going to fight these guys. Like, no. They just took his girlfriend against her will, like 3 of them, like all the brothers. Like, that's really messed up.
There was a lot of messed up shit back then. You remember the end of it?
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't make the movie. That
True.
is really messed up. How do you get to that point from a bunch
know.
of kids sleeping, the gangbang of kids? Like, that's no.
Yeah, like,
spoiler
hold
alert
on.
if you haven't read the book, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. And again, something you don't pay attention to because you're like, oh, this is nice and mellow. What a happy song. Like, step back a moment. I think breakup songs are the most accurate.
Definitely, yeah.
The lost love songs, because it's like, yeah, that's what it's like. But the whole, we're perfect together. No, because no two people are perfect together. I really overanalyze stuff. It's funny because I was talking to my shrink, and whatever it is, NSYNC, Backstreet, but whoever does that fucking song about, I don't care who you are, where you're from, just as long as you love me. I'm like, that's a codependent song.
Very codependent
I'm like, think
song.
about it. He doesn't care where she's from, what her background is. Doesn't care what she does to him. He just needs her love.
Right.
She goes, I used to like that song too. You just pointed that out to me.
Right.
Like, she's like, thank you for ruining it. I'm like, it's true. The singer is codependent.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's a completely unhealthy relationship. You should have standards. Don't let her treat you any old way. That's not a healthy relationship. You're being used, and she's going to dump you. So, yeah, I tend to overanalyze those things.
Right. Country has a lot of fucked up shit. Remember Lucille? And there's a lot of songs that are
fancy.
Right, really bad
where it's
stuff.
like, mom turned me into a prostitute to support the family. And it's like,
right.
I'm sure that's happened in some situations, and it's accurate, but it's like, yeah, it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
Lucille, you've left me with these kids, and I'm trying to think of what else there was.
Also, a lot of pedophilia in rock, in the classic rock stuff.
Youngblood,
Christine 16, Cherry Pie, all these songs.
Cherry Pie, what's that? Well, yeah, okay.
She's like 16 or something.
No, they don't mention an age.
Yeah, 17 by Winger. Yeah. And there's a lot of those songs they're pretty,
You can only listen to 17 by Winger in certain states and it not be illegal.
Right.
Other states, it's like, nope.
Yeah. And a lot of underage pedophilia stuff going on there. And
you're right.
You go back to the history of it all, too, and you got Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page was like dating a 14-year-old girl for a couple of years, and like, that didn't, if that happened now, like, are you kidding me?
Jerry Lee Lewis married his, 13-year-old
cousin. Like, that would not
that
fly at all,
That did ruin his career.
Right.
At that point.
What's the catalyst? A year between 14 and 13? Because it didn't mess up Jimmy Page's career.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is it messed up his career, but he didn't I don't think he went to jail for marrying her.
Right.
But yeah, if you were to do that now, you'd be toast.
Right.
Like we were talking about with like Me Too and all that. Even an accusation of that would have just killed their careers.
Right.
But then in rock, it's kind of like, yeah, it's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
That's yeah. But you don't get that in yacht rock.
No, you don't know.
It's all very consensual.
Yeah.
He may be giving her a little too much Ernest and Julio Gallo to lower her inhibitions.
Right.
But yeah, it's all.
We're just reminiscing, baby.
There you go. When we're laying out on the blanket on the bow of the ship and got that picnic
Yacht
basket out, and I'm wearing my white linen pants and my sweater around my polo shirt. Oh, God, I'm making myself sick.
You're swaying back and forth and throwing up off the side.
That's how much I feel.
What was the other song? Ride Like the Wind. He had the New York City song, and there was another one. Sailing. That's it. Yeah.
Which, I mean, right there. That's
right
kind of
there.
like your
That's
standard
totally
bear.
yacht rock. Yeah, that was the invention
Sailing
of yacht
takes
rock.
me away to where I want to be. Again, it reminds me of listening to like Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Just some like really shitty 70s poetry.
Just homogenized, skim milk of music, basically.
And the poetry I love is like Bukowski.
Right.
So what does that tell you right there? It's just
totally.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm thinking about the alcoholic talking about being in his boxers and watching his cat shit.
Yeah, you're thinking of country music.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking of. That's where you're living.
It's funny because you listen to a lot of country music. I'm going home to rock my baby. Somebody's knocking. It's like, these are all about people screwing.
Yep.
They're not saying it, but the songs are about the same topic as the rock songs that everybody was complaining about to their kids. Like, you can't listen to that. It's filth. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Hank Williams Jr., baby. He sings about sex all the time.
Yeah. And which is creepy in and of itself.
Right.
But, yeah, it's...
Bocephus is awesome.
It's kind of the same, across all genres.
Right.
Even making whoopee. That's what you get for making whoopee. It's like, they're having sex.
Yep.
But it's just a little
Baby,
less...
it's cold outside. Pretty rapey.
See, okay. Is it?
We had this discussion. I'm just pulling your chain here because I know we both had the discussion. It's like, no, it's not. It's just he wants to spend some time with this girl, but
I mean, he doesn't assault her. He doesn't do it. He's just like, come on. He begs, and at some point, every guy is begged.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's just it's.
They cut out the roofie line. I mean, that's the only thing that's missing really at that point, but. You know
what would be priceless is if somebody found a thing on YouTube or just found a clip of Cosby singing "Baby It's Cold Outside." That would be just like comedy gold. Like they're like, son of a bitch. Nobody picked up on that.
He's spiking the pudding.
Yeah. What was it? That gorilla they tried to tranquilize? There was a meme and it was Cosby and goes, "I could have tranquilized that gorilla."
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez,
is it
man.
that time?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, kids, you have spent another worthwhile half hour or so with Brandon and I loving to hate on Yacht Rock. I hate it more. He loves it a little more.
Yeah, I grew up
But
with it. It's a thing.
Hey, that's the fun part of this show. We don't have to love and hate the same things. And hopefully you guys had some fun along the way. In the meantime, if you guys want to contact us or just figure out what the hell we're up to, where would they contact us?
You can check us out on the Twitter at Love to Hate Pod. You can also message us on the Facebook page at Love to Hate. And I will say this. I do hate to love Yacht Rock because I don't like that I like it, but I do like it.
We can be friends again.
Okay.
Talk to you next week, kids.